Now, two very quick ones. Number one, what would be your advice to the young students in India of IT, science and management domain? What would you like to tell them?
So firstly, I would like to say is that you have huge amount of opportunities coming forward, because the role of, particularly there's a new tsunami coming called AI. We all know the old AI, which is face recognition, speech on your phone, but there's a new brand of AI called generative AI, and that can start designing aircraft. It can solve math problems, very complex problems. It can reason on things. So that's a big tsunami coming, and India can benefit by it. And it's my role. My question in India was, how do we use it fully, and how do we contribute to it? So a lot of opportunities for people in information technology. Youngsters should pay attention, but always remember, the value comes from new ideas. Innovation is the key to enter this and do well. And but huge opportunities. So a lot of the job structures are going to change. These new generative AI can also do coding. So it's going to displace a lot of the low-level coding jobs. So more and more, the value of people will get pushed to more and more skilled people, brighter people with much more knowledge. They will get all the value. If people are not skilled, will be left out. So, but therefore, study hard, think big, and so a lot of opportunity.
Would you recommend that, in view of your emphasis on new ideas and innovation, that the young students in India, those who have an opportunity, should go out for further studies, maybe post-graduation and research outside, in US and Europe? So
certainly, the top universities in the world, in 10 years ago in wireless, it was, where I was involved heavily in the United States. In AI today also, I would say US is still the top university. In fact, of the top 20 universities, top 18 are in US. And many of them, like Stanford, MIT, UC Berkeley, are also very strong in AI. So certainly, if you get there, I would readily recommend that you spend some time, but do come back to India, because I do think that in US, it's so competitive that if you have a nice background in US, you come back to India, you have less barriers here to try and do something. So by means, if you have an opportunity, go abroad and learn. But we do have our IITs, and we do have some faculty here. So our top universities in India also are good places. But if you want the cutting edge, it is still sitting outside India.
You are known, I read that there are 83 patents where you are the co-inventor. Do you still have time to get involved in a thing like that?
No, I think I've stopped filing patents. Patents are usually used mostly linked to my companies. You file patents to protect your technology and sometimes use it as a weapon against somebody else. So it's a very boring thing. I actually have many more papers. I have 450 research papers. But the MIMO patent was interesting. It's part of everything in the world today, the idea of MIMO. But MIMO is the first patent. Today there are 570,000 patents worldwide.
Speak a few words, a few sentences about MIMO.
So MIMO is a technology that what happens is, in wireless, you want to speed up the link speed. It's very difficult. For example, if you want to speed up a link speed on an iPhone under certain regime of operation, not every regime of operation, you would have to, with the old technology of one antenna transmit, one antenna receive, today an iPhone can only transmit maximum quarter watt, because otherwise more than that a phone is not safe because you're close to the body. But you want to increase the speed by 4 times or 6 times, MIMO makes it happen, and do it with only one antenna. You will need billions of watts to go 6 times. That is the theory. It's hard to understand, but that's how it works. In MIMO, we have 4x4 antennas, you can get that speed up with the same quarter watt. So the value of MIMO is simply incredible. That is why initially I had a lot of problems convincing my colleagues in university that it worked, is useful. It took many years until I did my first 2 companies, and then it became. So now over the years, today there are more than 2,500 patent PhD theses on MIMO. There are many books. I wrote the first book, but now there are 30 or 40 books. Patents 570,000. Worldwide, more than almost 500,000 research papers, and tens of thousands of people work in it all over the world. I think much of the volume is in China, but US also is there.
You also mentioned about the work being done by, and you are optimistic about the IIT graduates and pass outs.
Yeah.
Are you in touch, and
I know the IITs very well.
Yes.
They all know me well. So the thing about IITs is that we do a fantastic job at the BTech and the PhD and the MTech level. At the doctoral level, we are not at the same level as you see the top universities in the United States or in Europe. But we need to catch up, and we have good people. But what my only message to IIT, and I'm very frank with them,
yes,
is that it is good to write papers, research papers, and any research paper which is valued in our IITs is always published in foreign journals, because they are the high standard journals, and it's always the value, and that is normally used for promotions. Unless you write good papers in top journals, you don't get promoted.
yes.
And so, because if we get published in top journal, it's a clear bar of achievement. So the IITs use that substantially. But I would like the IITs also emphasize experimental work, building things. It's always hard. It's much easier to write down. It takes about 6 months to write a paper. You have good graduate students. It's more fulfilling in some ways. Building things is very messy. A lot of things go wrong, getting parts, but only when you build things, really, you actually take things forward. And the combination of building and research, practice and theory, is a magic combination, which the Americans are very good at, and the Chinese are even better. We are somewhat more theoretical now in IIT. We need much more of building, and I often lecture to the IIT. They all know me, that we need to do more building. Something is happening in wireless. I think the last 4 or 5 years, there have been some good work in IITs. I know all of that. And so you're making a beginning, but we need much more building. And I think IITs understand that, but we need to go much faster.
Thank you very much, Prof Paulraj, for all your time that you have given.
Thank you.
All the best.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, General.